Hi there, David. Welcome. Love and light to you here. Let's see here. What is coming through for you? Thank you so much, dear David, for your patience with this reading. Oh my. So we have here, right off the bat, we're going to pull up your birth chart and see what might be coming through. But right off the bat, I'm seeing the Fool. And the Fool speaks of Aquarius energy. It speaks of Uranus, the 11th house. It speaks of the ability to channel, to tap into these other realms. I'm hearing specifically of our consciousness. I'm hearing in that way specifically here. The Death card in the Chariot is well coming through. Major changes here. Yep, you're definitely feeling things physically. Some kind of activation. You've got some sort of perhaps even feeling that you were being guided to move in a certain direction. Now, right before I started your reading, it was 222. So they're going to be focused on that number sequence. Now, let us pull up your information and see what comes through, David, in your birth chart. Okay. Now, let's see here. You mentioned... Thank you so much again for your patience, dear David. Okay. 3876. Yes, there's something that I'm hearing. The messages. You feel you are and it might not be quite yet. Okay, it might be something that is slowly activating, but it is the ability to also. I'm hearing I'm hearing translate. I'm hearing and be it in some kind of way you playing a role as even. I'm hearing a guide. I'm hearing a channel. 1 second, and it may be by way of what you are physically experiencing as well, your personal experiences. Let me see, March 8th. Okay, now I feel guided to also ask you, do you meditate yet? Because I'm getting that the mind is very active. I'm seeing that you have be it a strongly placed Mercury, for example, but I'm seeing there's something about the mind. Be it a lot of air energy in your chart. I'm hearing Virgo, Aquarius, Gemini. Something, though, is really even something that you think a lot about. I'm hearing in that way as well. It may be even like I'm seeing it's like a concern, like something like that you feel really, really, really called to also in some shape or form. I'm hearing present. Okay, so 1 second, and we're going to get into that. It may have to do with your upbringing. I'm hearing that birth town. I'm hearing specifically, like, I'm not sure. 1 second. Fountain Valley. There we go. Fountain Valley. This came through. Fountain Valley of the Ages. Is that what came through in that one? I don't know when you first started, tuning in, but that had come through real strongly. A little while back. It's like the video with the top number of views on the channel so far, at least, as it can appear. So that had come through, as I recall. Now, all right. Okay, now you got here in your birth chart. And always take it as you will, right? Can be taken perceived from a number of ways. But there's something that perhaps, yes, here we go, the moon in Gemini. There is this my sister has this placement, I'm real familiar with it. There's something that perhaps you feel really, really open to. I'm hearing how you feel. You're being even suggested to take it on. I'm hearing this ability to the next level and the next step and stage. I'm seeing this has to do with the stimulation of your ability. I'm hearing to see specifically. I'm hearing it in that way. And it's kind of interesting because what I'm seeing is that this has to do with a certain, even, I'm hearing public space, a really public space. I'm hearing even one that is physical. Now, you have Mars here, and let me show you your birth chart here. Right as we get into it. This is what your birth chart looks like, dear David. And as you can see, we've got the 12 houses, we've got all 12 signs as well that are present in the birth chart. And so it's just a matter of, we got all the planets that naturally rule each of these houses and signs, and they are all in a certain sign and placed in a certain house. Now, whenever we have let me say it this way, right, the planets naturally rule certain signs and certain houses. So they find home to certain houses and in certain signs. So whenever we've got, for example, a planet in its natural ruling sign or house, it's going to be pretty prominently placed. All right, as a planetary body energy. So for you, right, we've got here, and we can also extend it by way of element, but let's not get into that. Okay, but as a sort of a general note. All right, now in addition, whenever we have a planet that's conjunct one of the angles, is also going to be prominently placed there as well. Whenever we've got a planet in also I'm hearing, there we go, it's a Mercury in Aquarius for you at 29 degrees. This is really, really significant. This is that Uranian energy that was coming through. There's something that perhaps you feel, it's like there's something about your thoughts, like you think things, you have visions, you have impulses. I'm hearing also impulsive visions, and it's something about perhaps how it is that you feel you are kind of assimilating that within the grander context of a certain also community. Now, there is a vision that you have, I'm hearing in that way. There's something that you perhaps is like, but it's my version of the story. It's very unique to you. This has to do with your particular also personality. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. I'm hearing a persona. There's something that perhaps you feel also is an ability to predict. I'm hearing prediction. Now, all right. Now, you got a lot of Aquarius in your chart as well. Before we get to that. Now, whenever we've got again, a planet at 29 degrees, 27, even 28, at the tail end of, right, from 0 to 30, the tail end of a sign is going to be prominently placed there. So when, again, we got a planet at, 27, 28, 29 degrees of a certain sign, then it's going to be rather prominent there. All right, now, in addition, when we have planets retrograde, you might find that the gifts associated with those particular planets, they come to flourish over time. So, for you, right off the bat, we see your sun, the most prominent sort of planetary body of energy, or the source of light in the birth chart, the strongest source of light, and what is light, right, always take it as you will, for you is in Pisces, and water energy. For you, it's in the fire house of Sagittarius, the 9th house. So there is this sort of axis of also how we involve ourselves in a space that we feel we interpret, and we also express, okay, within. So to say it in the way that perhaps there's this almost this oscillation, I'm hearing, of how we are able to receive, also to hold ourselves in a state that is receptive and inherently at the same time expressive. So there's something that perhaps you feel within the paradigm of yin and yang. I'm hearing within the paradigm of presentation and perception, we play some sort of directive, lead, I'm hearing, role, act in. Leadership can absolutely be a strong focus here. In performance, in some shape or form, absolutely. There is a certain focus, though, again, on the ability to kind of also empathize, okay? It's not like a leader who's just like, I'm running on stage and I'm just like letting myself loose. I'm just letting myself go. It's like, no. This is something that, and what does that really mean? But, to say in the way perhaps you feel, it's like, I want there to be meaning to. I'm hearing context to what it is. I'm hearing depth to as well. And perhaps you feel like, I feel like it's guided. That I move in a certain way. I'm hearing before an audience. So there's saying the way perhaps I'm seeing like somebody who walks on stage and they're like, okay, I am sharing, I'm hearing my light, okay, with this space. Now, it is a matter of how others are letting me in as well. Now, that is a certain type of performance that is not just, I'm hearing, I'm on stage and I'm saying my name, but it's really a matter of how are we synchronizing. I'm hearing it in that way, and you might feel and you might find that you're drawn to spaces, to places where you're able to play, or that you feel that you are being guided. I'm hearing also invited to play a certain interpretive role as well, and be that in the space and dimension of healing in some way, stepping into a room where you're really kind of I'm hearing inspiring others in a certain way. I always take as well, right? Every move that we make in a certain way has I'm hearing a letter attached to it. Interesting that it kind of I'm hearing like it teaches others by. I'm hearing it leads others by. And to say in the way that all of our moves, whether or not we feel like we're on stage in some shape or form or not, they have a certain also role of leadership that they play. Now you have here Jupiter conjunct Chiron. This is not a joke. I'm hearing specifically in that way. To begin with, Jupiter is expansive, right? It is an expansive body. Now, again, always take it as you will, but there is a certain emphasis, okay? There's an emphatic nature to Jupiter. Wherever it sits in the chart, it will kind of light up that part of the chart. It will also inspire, the energy that may come into its orbit around it. And so to say it in this way, Chiron, the asteroid of Chiron, is all about healing. It is the planet of healing, the asteroid of healing. It speaks of our ability to also provide healing energy to others in some kind of way. It speaks of also your abilities, right? And specifically those that might be related to what they say that, where your gifts may lie as it pertains to Chiron and healing abilities. I'm hearing leadership here for you specifically, and it is in Aries for you. We're going to get to that. It is also, again, conjunct Jupiter, and it's in the 10th house. So talk about leadership, but to say it in the way of, they say that where our abilities, where our talents may lie as it relates to Chiron is kind of in those in those experiences where we may have faced some sort of, they say some sort of perhaps challenge or difficulty, and in coming to terms with that space, we then are able to provide that sort of even that experience as one that is healing for others. So there's something perhaps even I'm hearing about the sharing of your personal story. It may have to do with also your physical body or your space of sort of how you identify with yourself on a very personal level. You did mention something about your name, so it could be related to that Aries, you have Jupiter in Aries, and you got Jupiter conjunct Chiron in Aries, and it's like off by maybe like 40 degrees of a conjunction. It's real close there in Aries and in the 10th house. It's the highest point in the birth chart, right? The 10th house is all about where we thrive publicly. It's all where we carry our gifts out publicly. So there's something that perhaps you see yourself creating some sort of even standard with. I'm hearing a standard protocol. I'm hearing a standardized protocol. It can be an actual physical location as well, some sort of even program. Now, whatever it is, I'm hearing a sort of a place. Now, again, something that perhaps you feel a protocol. I'm hearing, again, something you see yourself even creating publicly or publicizing. Now, okay, I'm not sure if you've ever considered acting, I'm hearing specifically, but okay, or in some shape or form, some form of even leadership. I'm hearing leading a large group of people, an audience, working with teams, speaking, public speaking. Oh my goodness. There is a significant propensity for carrying out, I'm hearing a certain also act in a public way. Now, okay, take it however it is that you do, however it is that you feel it speaks to you, but specifically Jupiter conjunct Chiron, and in Aries there could be a focus on the physical body especially. There is perhaps an activation of certain abilities, talents, gifts that move through the physical body in some kind of way. It can be related to even, let's say, healing, Reiki, hands-on healing, even I'm hearing teaching. I'm hearing as well. Like it's something that perhaps you feel you want to guide, you want to lead, you want to work with others through the space of to kind of carry on certain gifts and talents as well. And it might be again by way of your own personal experience, even your childhood. I'm hearing growing up specifically. What was it that you felt also was a challenge, and how do I take that and kind of help others make certain choices, make certain decisions that empower them for their future? I'm hearing that specifically. Also empower them to make certain. I'm hearing audiences rave. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but it could be something where you feel guided to help others also speak out about certain abilities, talents in a public way. Now you have your Venus in Aquarius. Venus is what we enjoy. We may find that we enjoy partaking in the experience space of. For you, it is in Aquarius, and it is conjunct Mercury. So in these two planets for you, they are conjunct by 7 degrees. They are both in the 8th house as well. This is the house of Scorpio. This is the house of Pluto, Mars. I'm hearing attraction. I'm hearing what brings people together, what makes people tick, what makes people talk, what makes people start to get. I'm hearing also their experiences more. I'm hearing more interesting. I'm hearing like on the table, I'm hearing progress. Interesting. I'm seeing you almost like perhaps you play some sort of stimulating role, or you feel guided to. You're like, I love to get people to start thinking about things that make them not only thoughts, but also I'm hearing theories that might be able to in some shape or form be applied to the future. Now, to say it in this way, oh my, there is a huge spider. Okay. Crawling. Let us close the window. Now, there is perhaps some sort of, I'm hearing significant ability. Actually, I don't really think that's, well, it looks kind of like an ant. Anyways, there's something that is like, I'm seeing even like you feel really, I'm hearing like really attracted to as well. Like I'm seeing there's something where you might even feel like it's so, I'm hearing also complex. I love it. Like, I don't know what that's like. Maybe there's like a certain type of experience or place, or, platform where you're just like, I love how also in depth it gets. Like, I'm seeing that it has to do with energy work. I'm hearing also, I'm hearing predictions, and I'm not sure if maybe this is something where you're in metaphysics, okay, where you feel like I'm really, really into this. I'm hearing that specifically. There's a space where you feel really, really also guided to perhaps carry out in some kind of way, and it may be related also to the domain of research. I'm hearing as well, I'm hearing even philanthropy. Okay, take it as you will, but I'm seeing there's this desire perhaps to bring also people to connect, I'm hearing, with one another. Now, all right, there could be a focus as well on I'm hearing the physical body again, given that this is also taking place somewhat in the domain, the house of Mars, which co-rules both Aries and Scorpio, therefore the first house and the eighth house. So there is perhaps a focus on also, though, feeling that you are also helping others reconnect perhaps in some way. There is a focus on the physical body. I'm hearing that specifically on how it is that they think about also their assets. All right, now you have your Neptune in the fifth house in Sagittarius. Again, a focus on performance, on passion, on presentation, and in some ways also perception, right? Kind of leading and teaching that everything is in a certain way. Also, I'm hearing guided. I'm hearing by our. Also, I'm hearing proactive nature. Interesting. It's real interesting because I'm seeing like. It's almost like there is this recognition that there is an elusive nature and also a very clear, direct nature to how it is that we dance. I'm hearing in this realm, in this dimension. I'm hearing also of love. How do we feel love, and to what degree does it kind of feel? I'm hearing real. Interesting. I'm hearing to us. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but there could be some kind of focus on wanting to inspire an audience to also physically identify with that concept of love in some kind of. I'm hearing even like. I'm hearing multi-dimensional context. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but be it, there's something that perhaps you feel, once again, you want to help others. Again, I'm hearing connect with this concept, but I'm hearing through the lens perhaps of, even like I'm hearing like it's almost like you want to entice. I'm hearing the senses. I'm hearing that specifically, like kind of like stimulate people's consciousness. Okay, and it might be by way of in some shape or form like something that you feel you are again guided to kind of also again get people to kind of start thinking about. Now the moon here in Gemini, a lot of Gemini energy there in the chart naturally in the air house of Aquarius. This is a lot of air energy specifically as it pertains to the lunar propensities, that which is related to the yin propensity. We've all got that, right? We all got a moon sign, we all got a sun sign, we all got the yin, the yang. We've all got, not just related to the moon and the sun, but in general, right? We are the fabric woven of all opposites. I'm hearing that attract, and I'm not sure whether that's always take it as you will, but there is perhaps this kind of it's this kind of I'm hearing this balance point, okay, and it's a matter of how we are able to think. I'm hearing, and at the same time see. Now it's so interesting because I'm seeing like there is almost this dimension of polarity. I'm hearing of processing your reality. I'm hearing your own perception, and it has to do with I'm hearing how your thoughts almost like I'm seeing like there is this like a tremendous ability okay to kind of also I'm hearing like think of the future in some kind of way, or have like this. I'm hearing multi-dimensional consciousness, and I'm seeing like maybe you could look at something and you're like, well, I just see it, and then I think it, and then I can kind of also like acknowledge it as a thought being. I don't know what that is alluding to. As negative as you will, but it's something that perhaps as you feel that there are multi dimensions, a number of dimensions to what even a certain discussion is, and people may find that is incredibly, like you are able to also bring to the table, bring to to the point of having other people also talk about certain conversations that like would have never, like I'm seeing like even like a professor who brings like a certain conversation like out of like a cloud that no one even realized was like floating in the sky there, like, and it's like they look at your ideas and they're like, oh my goodness, that is just brilliant, like how did you know, and it could be related to your ability to also for premonition, again, there's a focus on the ability to translate, to communicate, and so you have Mars in the 12th house as well, in Gemini, and it's conjunct your moon. There is a focus on what, but by 9 degrees, there's a focus on what, by actually 11 degrees. Okay, so it is still conjunct, but there's something that perhaps you feel, even again, the physical body in some way, in some shape or form, may be related to. I feel things also physically. I feel that I have visions, but in my body. It's so interesting. I'm seeing like maybe you feel certain visions in certain parts of the body. You mentioned that actually, didn't you, in your email? You mentioned energy that moves through your body. Okay, now there is I'm seeing there is I'm seeing, all right, well, before we get into this, there is a focus here. I'm reading what you were writing on Nubia there, but before we get into that, I'm seeing that I'm hearing there's something that perhaps didn't make sense in some way logically if it were to be perceived in a logical way. Anyways, let's not get into that quite yet. Now, I'm seeing 33 as a focus, whatever that may mean, in particular for you, 3, 3, 6 leading into 9 as well. 3 by 3, I'm hearing that specifically leading into 9. And okay, so there's something perhaps that you feel is to also be carried out strategically at some point or another. It may be related to timing. 3 years, 3 days, 3 months, 3 weeks. I'm not sure what that's going to. Again, adopting it. I'm hearing adopting it to 6 to 9. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. I'm hearing 33 as well. The age of 33. I don't know what that's alluding to. Anyhow, you got your ascendant in Cancer, and you've got Saturn conjunct your ascendant angle, 26 degrees. That's pretty right, advanced and in retrograde. So and it is conjunct your ascendant. So there is a focus on what perhaps you see yourself really also physically bringing. I'm hearing I'm hearing the public. I'm hearing making it very obvious. Like I'm seeing there's something that you physically feel you are guided. You're feeling guided to create also the platform for the space of, and it may be a physical actual property. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm seeing there's something that perhaps it could have to do with real estate or some kind of even program, some sort of company, some sort of organization, something that you feel, even a project you want to get off the ground. And this might kind of, it has to do with your ability to I'm hearing inspire and motivate others to also bring others more deeply in touch with their roots, their history. I'm hearing also their karma. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Always take it as you will, but I'm seeing there's something that perhaps you play as you feel it, some sort of even role of leadership, of guidance with, but in terms of clarifying what the, I'm hearing what the point of also connection is. I'm hearing to the past. Interesting. So I'm seeing like in some way you help, I'm hearing in some shape or form helping inspire others. I'm hearing leading into the future in some way, or what is the future, but leading and inspiring others, but as it sort of also I'm hearing integrates with the past in some way. Now, okay, always take it as you will. All right, but there is also, oh my, a lot of Cancer energy in your chart here as well. Pluto in the 4th house. Some kind of really perhaps challenging experience in the past that men always take it as you will, but that tested you. I'm hearing what you knew to be true, what you felt to be true about your persona. I'm hearing it in that way. There is a point perhaps of challenge where you felt like this is how I connect with others, or this is how I see myself, and that then in a certain way is a challenge to how I connect with others. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, be it related to the space that you mentioned. Actually, you said the adoption, names. You have Pluto here conjunct the angle, the 4th house. There is something, not necessarily in any kind of way, but there's something perhaps that you feel that it was a process for you. I'm hearing it was something that you felt you were to kind of, I'm hearing it was a matter of how I presented this space. I'm hearing as well, and I'm almost seeing somebody who like wasn't given any particular also like I'm hearing like name. I'm seeing like something that says Chop Smith. It's like there's something that perhaps you feel like Smith is usually like a last name, right? Chop is like chopping it off. It's like there's something perhaps that you that you felt I never really got it. Like I'm hearing I was never really given like a clear answer there, and so it led you down this path perhaps of wanting to really address that space very clearly. It's like where we felt maybe even guided, like I want to get to the very root of it, the very core of it, the depth of the discussion of it, because it wasn't made clear. And Pluto, and in some way perhaps you felt that it was again some sort of even place that you felt you were to travel in your own I'm hearing in your own mind's eye. Like, how do I identify with this space personally in a way that feels how do I identify with this space in a way that kind of like it integrates. I'm hearing it feels integrated. All right, now let's continue here. I'm hearing DNA analysis. I don't know what that's about with the Pluto in the fourth house in Libra. There is again some kind of perhaps emphasis on also how we it's kind of like finding direction. How do we find direction into our future when we haven't really clearly identified our past in some way as it may have been perceived? So there's a focus perhaps on the tracing also of, I'm hearing history, retracing, the kind of review, the space of review also of where it is that we feel I'm hearing what our source is also, where we come from. What is it that we feel is also our power? And I'm hearing it has to do with our abilities. I'm hearing our superhuman abilities. When we feel we can't define ourselves as a human, where does that lead us to kind of find, I'm hearing, the depth of how we connect truly with our being in ways that may not make full sense? It's like, sometimes we feel a little bit perhaps even that we play some sort of complicated role or image. We feel that perhaps we feel that we know ourselves, but there is that question of what is it that created us. I'm hearing that as well with the Chariot and the Death card and the High Priestess. What is it that we also I'm hearing we want truly. I'm hearing it with the Three of Pentacles and the Hermit. What is it that we acknowledge in that space of that question of wonder that we wish to create with? And it has to do with your abilities. It has to do with your talent. I'm hearing specifically as it relates to the Hermit, the physical body, the ability to dive so deeply into our consciousness, that which challenges what we feel we are able to characterize ourselves by. In other words, if we feel like we can use that word and we can define ourselves, what is it that then leads to I'm hearing the emotional interpretation of? In another word, in another phrase, how is it that I feel I let go of my persona and I develop, I'm hearing, my connection to it at the same time? Whoa. So in some kind of way, there is a focus on, I'm hearing, the paradigm of, I'm hearing, impossibility. How is it that I find my place in this universe without necessarily I'm hearing underlining it? How is it that I feel I emanate and I am simply that space of love without the context to define it for me, formally, for me? I'm hearing as a formal, I'm hearing audience. Wow. So it's like, what makes me feel also? Well, Nine of Wands here and the Nine of Cups. Yeah, there's something that perhaps in the Temperance card, the Mother of Swords, like there's been this long cycle perhaps of, do I define it? Do I know? No, I don't need to define it. I'm hearing that as well. Like maybe there's this process of Eight of Cups in reverse, Six of Cups upright, the Sun of Cups upright, this feeling of like, I'm coming to grips with, I'm growing through this experience, I'm climbing this mountain, and I'm throwing myself into, I'm hearing, the abyss of understanding that I'm hearing the tension that I seek to dissolve. Wow. Oh my. The Father of Wands in reverse, the Tower upright, I'm hearing it's sensational. I'm hearing there's some kind of perhaps story that you feel so guided to share with others in some way. It has to do with I'm hearing your indescribable ability to, I'm hearing, inspire your audience. I'm hearing it in that way with the Tower and the Hermit. What is it that you feel you have also experienced the test of? That you feel you really, I'm hearing you, it's a source of tension in some kind of way perhaps, where you're like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Oh, okay, but I feel I want to talk about it. It's like, there's something that, you know, the Hermit is falling on the ground with the Father of Cups. It's something even on an energetic level that you feel it's like, it has a place also publicly. I'm hearing that specifically, and you know, I'm seeing you even oscillate between like I want to present it, and then I want to pass it up. I'm seeing someone on a train, even they're like approaching a stop, and they're like, I don't want to get off, but then they're like, no, I do want to get off, and it's like this kind of that is like the Gemini moon, right? The good old Gemini moon. I want it, but I don't. Let's hang out, but I'm not ready. You know, it's like there's something perhaps that you feel you've also, I'm hearing, been resisting here. I'm hearing that specifically with the Son of Cups, the Chariot, and the Fool. You could be dealing also with Aquarius. It could be though also I'm hearing your vision. I'm hearing your vision. Here, the Son of Cups, the Chariot, something that you feel has a lot of potential. It may have to do with I'm hearing your place on the map. You may be thinking of moving. You might feel guided. So there's some perhaps even physical location, some land or even industry that calls you. You feel like it feels like home. It feels like home. I'm hearing that specifically. And it's scary though. At the same time, the Tower mirroring the Eight of Wands and the Two of Cups, as much as a strong feeling as it is, the Sun right over the Tower, we know it. The Seven of Cups in reverse. It at the same time, it feels kind of I'm hearing provocative. I'm hearing as well I'm hearing like it. You feel like it could change your reality. And that's kind of scary. I don't know what that's alluding to, but at the same time, it's so funny because I'm seeing whatever this dynamic is of also attraction. It kind of reflects like I'm hearing like passion, but also pain at the same time. You're like, it's so beautiful. I'm hearing, I'm so afraid of it. Like I'm hearing like these two like this acts as like it's so exciting. It's scary. Like, you know, it's like there's something that perhaps you feel like you feel so. I'm hearing such a dramatic degree or level of attraction to interest for that it makes you feel like you know I'm hearing who am I? Like it's so funny because I'm seeing them even like appear on stage, and they appear on that stage. I feel like this came through in the Aquarius reading, general Aquarius reading, like they appear on stage, and by the way, you may really find you resonate a whole lot with Aquarius in your chart. You got a lot of Aquarius in your chart. Okay, now let's get back into it. You know, there's like this feeling, also Gemini, you might find you really resonate a lot with Gemini, even Cancer. Now, it's like there could be this feeling of like, again, like I'm seeing somebody appearing on stage and they like appear, they have this very clear, even vision of themselves in a certain way. When they appear on that stage, all of a sudden they're like, wait, what's the talk? I'm hearing it in that way. Strength card upright, the Ace of Cups in reverse. Like it's almost like when I flow with my feeling, when I follow the feeling rather, I find myself almost at a loss for words to describe what door it was. I'm hearing what it is that I am actually, I'm hearing doing here. I don't know what that I'm seeing someone wandering through like even like a I don't know, some kind of park or something, and then like they're like, I'm just following. Anyways, and it's like then they arrive somewhere and then they're like they realize that there's an audience that I don't know what that's like, but they're like, okay, what's my also I'm hearing what's my problem? Okay, Ten of Swords. So there's something maybe you've been second guessing, or maybe something that you feel like it's a situation doesn't really make sense. Like maybe you've been questioning. This could be perceptive in your mind, where you're like, I imagine myself in this space, and then I have fantasies about it, but then it's like I feel like I can't face it, or like I feel like, and not in any particular way, or I always say as you will, but it's like there's something that perhaps you feel is kind of like it's a little tricky. I'm hearing to kind of like also address. Literally, maybe it's like I have this really strong feeling, and for those who got a lot of air in the chart, which you do. A lot of Aquarius, a lot of Gemini. There's a focus on perhaps that, you know, it's like they want to understand, and they can go to such lengths and degrees of addressing this space of what they feel. It could be intuition, it could be emotion, that they're almost like they feel like they invert from it. It's like I understand it so much now at this point that I feel like I don't have anything to describe it with anymore. Like it's like there is this question or fascination or this to kind of like also define whatever this attraction is, or whatever this also dynamic is, whatever this also though. Oh, I'm hearing distraction is. Okay, so in some kind of way, maybe you feel like something gets you off of your horse in some way. You're like, it throws me off. Like, I don't know what that is interesting, but it throws me off. I'm hearing as well. 1 second. Now you have your North Node. So we were saying, you got a lot of Cancer in your chart again. You've got here North Node in the 4th house, which is natural house of Cancer. In Uranus, I'm hearing there's something that you feel I'm hearing it's magnetic. you really, really attracted to it. I'm not sure what that in particular is alluding to. But at the same time, you feel like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to, but it's something that I'm hearing, it will become more clear over time. You have Uranus here, conjunct your North Node. North Node speaks of the soul life path, calling into the long term, what direction we see ourselves evolving in. For you, it's in Scorpio, 8th house, speaking of metaphysics. I'm hearing, again, attraction. You got Uranus here in Scorpio. Uranus speaks of Aquarian energy. Uranus is in the 8th house. Aquarius for you is cusping the 8th house, and it's also, you got your Venus, again, Aquarius in the 8th house, Mercury and Aquarius in the 8th house, and you got Mercury at 29 degrees in the 8th house. So again, there's a focus here on this overlap space between Scorpio and Aquarius, specifically as it relates to soul path, life path, calling. You might find, and always take as well, what does that mean? But in some kind of way where you feel perhaps like you're fulfilling some sort of also service. I'm hearing duty too. I'm hearing broader, I'm hearing scope or direction. I'm hearing I'm hearing also society. Like, I don't know, you feel like I want to provoke. I'm hearing the important thing is that I provoke. Okay, there is something perhaps that you feel. I'm hearing yellow, like you want to make also like you seek to almost like prepare also others for in some way. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but it's something that perhaps you feel, I'm hearing you may want to also like, you feel like you are in a position in some kind of way to even share certain information with others. I'm hearing predict, like you may feel that you, like I'm seeing there's this space of almost feeling like, I know I was here for a reason at this time. I know I'm meeting this person at this time for a reason. I feel like there's something I need to tell them. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to, but there's maybe a little bit of like, but then there's this question of like, how do I take that and also have it kind of, like not, I'm hearing not happen randomly. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to create a certain space for this ability of yours to kind of also, I'm hearing like surprise, like I don't know what that's alluding to. Like maybe you feel like you like the sense of also, I'm hearing perhaps a space in which you can also, I'm hearing inspire, direct, lead, also present. I'm hearing also your predictions, but in such a space and within such a context that you feel also is safe. I'm hearing it in that way. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Perhaps it is for the sake of also helping I'm hearing others in a state of hysteria. I'm hearing it in that way, like, and be it related to mentorship, guidance, healing, counseling, in some way psychology, working even with, I'm hearing past life regression. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Even hypnosis therapy. There's something perhaps that you feel like, again, like you would like to, or you feel that you are able to offer some sort of healing, kind of like insight, yes, to others in some kind of way. All right, now let's see here. You've got as well your midheaven in Aries. All right, so yeah, there's a focus perhaps, strongly so, on what your direction is. And I'm seeing that's the important thing here. And to keep yourself, I'm hearing spontaneously, I'm hearing in motion, specifically, you might find is really important. Now let's backtrack. Okay, 2117, I'm hearing is a focus. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but let's see here. Now... Okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing that there is a focus on even pacifying people's fears. What I'm almost getting is this feeling of like, you might find that you're able to come into a space and almost provide like immediate relief. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Like maybe someone is freaking out or something, and you're just you're able to appeal. I'm hearing specifically to their inner child. I'm hearing their faith, though, specifically. Like you're able to perhaps walk into some kind of room and even I'm hearing invoke like some kind of I'm hearing healing energy into that space. Okay, here with the High Priestess and the Fool. Okay, let's get into your notes now. Yes, it's like I'm almost getting somebody who, for example, like almost like a doctor on call or something. Like somebody calls you and they're like, "I'm having this freak out," and then it's like I'm seeing like it sounded a little bit tribal, right? So, okay, take it as you will, but it's like there's something where you're able to like even. It's like I'm seeing like somebody who has some sort of also fear that maybe others will consider like there's no solution to this, like, and you're able to look at that person and you're able to kind of read through all of the I'm hearing all of the I'm hearing the aggression. I'm not sure what the assertion of that space as well. Like maybe somebody comes to you and they're like, I have like a problem with my I'm hearing with my thingy. I don't know what that's alluding my thingy. I'm hearing my think tank as well. I don't know what that's alluding to. Like, and I'm seeing you're able to look at that space and totally unravel it, like totally dissect it and be like, that's not what really is your problem. I'm hearing that as well. Like that's not really also the process that I think will solve it. So perhaps there's some sort of even space of alternative. I'm hearing healing. It may be even related though to psychology in some way. I'm hearing psychiatric care as well. Like maybe, there is some kind of I'm hearing Blu-ray. I'm hearing the color Blu-ray. I'm hearing also, I'm hearing like there is emotional healing that perhaps you feel uniquely you can access. Again, be it in some kind of way, you inspire. I'm hearing you heal, you lead as well with transformation now. But it's in the way of how perhaps you're able to kind of, I'm hearing like test like a certain space. I don't know what that's alluding to, but maybe somebody like generally, let's say certain things are associated with certain I'm hearing like problems. I don't know, maybe someone's like, oh, I feel like I'm having visions and I need now, like people call me crazy. And it's like, I'm seeing you're able to look at a space and really I'm hearing like kind of see what is special about that space as well. I can only, think of these sort of cases where it's like, ADD. It's not really an attention deficit disorder, right? Like that's the kind of feeling I'm getting. There is always take it as you will, but there's a focus on what you feel you are even able to kind of like process through, and it be it a space of emotion that someone may come to you with. They're like, I have this serious inability to also like stop thinking about this one person. I don't know what, and I'm seeing you're like able to like take that in and really I'm hearing like redial the number, and it's so funny because it's like I'm seeing somebody calling you and they're like, hey. I'm hearing David. I'm hearing they're calling you like Richie. Rich. I'm hearing, I can't, oh, I'm so sorry. 1 second. Oh gosh, that's my, sorry about that. That was so funny. I like, someone walking by, I recognized them and I was like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to call them. Anyways, yeah. I was like waving at them like, hey, call me up over here. Like, I don't know. It was so weird. And he's like looking around, like look kind of lost, like, and I was like thinking, oh, I'm gonna say his name, but I didn't remember. Anyway, so, anyways, we're saying David. Always take it as you will. There's something perhaps that, it's like this, like maybe I'm seeing someone like calls you up, and they're like, hey, David, but I'm hearing again, they're calling you like Richard. They're like, hey, I keep like thinking about this one thing in this way. I don't know I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hearing as well with myself. I'm hearing with myself. I'm hearing specifically. I feel like I'm delusional. I'm hearing that specifically. Like maybe someone comes up to you and they've got this like concern as well. And so, but again, they're like, and you're like, what's up? What's going on? What's the problem? And you're like, I don't know, like, and then they're like, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, call this one number. I'm seeing, like, it's weird. I'm seeing this person, like, trying to call someone up. Okay, and they're like, and they're telling you, they're like, I keep trying to call them up, but it's like, I can't get through. Like, the number, I don't know if it's just, like, I don't know, I'm hearing it's not dialing up. I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing to the future. I don't know what that's alluding to. Okay, and I'm seeing you, like, you look at them, and you're like, but you're not frantic, okay? Like, this person can come up to you in such a frantic manner and be like, David! Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing! I know, like, and it could even, it's a sort of feeling of, like, someone who is even, like, they're like in class or something, and they like the math problem, like the calculus is getting way too crazy for them, and they're like, they literally, and the teacher is like calm, cool, collected, okay, they know the calculation, all right, now always take it as you will. Now it's like, I'm seeing like these kids like I said kids, okay, always take me to well, but it's like there's someone who maybe comes up to you and they're like, oh man, like I feel like I don't know how to create this space as well. I don't know what that's alluding to. I always take it to, and I'm seeing this hat here. It could be something of how, there is a focus on the physical paradigm or aspect to whatever the space is. And I'm seeing, like, you look at this person and you're, like, totally calm. Like, you're like, and you look at them, you're like, give me the number, like, what's the number? And you have some sort of perception, like, and they give you the number and then you, like, you redial it, like, and it's like something so and then it goes through. It's like there's something that perhaps you, even with, like, I'm hearing crystals. I don't know if you work with crystals, but there could be a focus on crystals. I'm getting like shivers for you. I don't know what that's alluding to, but there is something that perhaps you feel you are able to activate. I'm hearing third eye chakra. There is a focus on what perhaps you even with animals. I'm hearing working with animals in some way. I'm hearing the earth. Even there's something that you feel you have had a few experiences with that really kind of also shook you up a little bit. I don't know what that's. I mean, they took you out of like a certain place. I'm hearing psychedelic. I don't know what that's alluding to. Like maybe you had a vision of something. Anyhow, what I'm getting is that there is something that you feel you are able to kind of also assert of the future. You're able to also understand uniquely about a certain situation. You're able to take a situation that someone hands you and like totally like kind of like clarify it. Now, and again, my sister has the moon in Gemini, and it's quite similar to this placement. Now, Moon in Gemini, though, again, can also, depending on how you're channeling that energy, can kind of come through as a little bit also, depending on how you channel it, a little paranoid maybe, okay, and as well, Venus in Aquarius in the 8th house, and, this is kind of thinking of, like, am I imagining things? The Mother of Wands coming through in reverse, and Venus is a person that you also, at a certain point in time, like, you manifested. I'm hearing it in that way, the Mother of Wands in reverse, 8 of Wands upright, the 2 of Cups. I'm hearing there was a lot of pressure. It was very difficult. We were wondering, is this really the person? I'm hearing, is this really the also the passion? I'm hearing, what is it that I'm feeling? Mother of Pentacles. I'm hearing it was kind of polarizing. You felt like it was real. It was happening in real time. I'm hearing, I don't know what that's going to do, but then at the same time you're like, but I don't really. I'm hearing play that game. I don't know what that's alluding to here. Mother of Pentacles upright, 8 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it felt kind of unsettling. I'm hearing risky, the Chariot upright, 9 of Wands upright. Perhaps it connected you with certain thoughts. I'm hearing that would be, I'm hearing like moved through. I'm hearing on an emotional level that might even provoke things from the past. 9 of Wands upright, 10 of Cups upright. I'm hearing it got dark at times. The Death card coming through right then and there. Magician upright, but. And the Temperance card at the base of the Death card, we realize it with tension, and we want to talk through it. We want to talk about it. 6 of Cups upright. There is something that perhaps we want to test ourselves on as well. Like just as hard as it is the Tower mirror and the Death card, I realize that it is a matter of directly addressing, I'm hearing the person that I am and that I want to become. I'm hearing also for them. I'm not sure what that's or in that space. 9 of Swords here mirroring the Mother of Swords, 10 of Swords in between the 9 of Swords and the Mother of Swords. There's been a lot of thinking here. It's really been, and at times felt like a game that we didn't know. I'm hearing how to go home with. I don't know what that's about. The World mirroring the 6 of Cups. Okay, to say in the way that we knew what this was at a certain point in time. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but there is like this feeling of like, oh, I am thinking about it, and it's like, but in reality, like there was nothing really to think about. Like you knew the space. I'm hearing in some way, like you felt like clear on it in some way, but there was just this excessive. I'm hearing also emotional. I'm hearing explaining of this. I'm hearing explanation of what you felt you knew of also what you experienced. And so there's a series of experiences perhaps that were quite testing. 8 of Pentacles in reverse, 6 of Cups upright. 6 of Cups is mirroring the world. But there's something that you are realizing, I'm hearing it in that way, like that you want to really radically also, I'm hearing that you want to pursue. I'm hearing strongly, and be it a connection here, be it a community, be it also both, be it also though a certain I'm hearing a place, a physical place that you feel guided to move on to. Now, it could be also a direction that you feel like guided to take on with your work. Professionally, I'm hearing again, it could be a certain also, again, I'm hearing place, even a place in time. It could be a place that you feel doesn't yet exist. It exists in your mind's eye. Wow, I imagine this. Yes, I want to create the space for it. Now, it could be something that you've also had dreams about. I'm seeing there is a focus on dreaming strongly, even meditating. Perhaps when you meditate, so there's something that even repetitively that you come to the vision of. Six of Cups is mirroring the Fool and the Magician, but I'm seeing there's almost, yep, Ten of Swords, mirroring all of this really beautiful, I'm hearing profound clarity. Like, I'm seeing that there's almost this, not playing a like devil's advocate, but it's like, as much as I see that, like, I feel like I can also kind of like question it, like, just because I can, right, doesn't mean that I necessarily will. I'm hearing find answers when I do that. Like, I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but maybe it's like you felt like it's unnecessary to even think of it like in this way. It's unnecessary to even try to define it, but at the same time, it's like, I am a detective after all. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to, but it's like there's perhaps this feeling of like, well, I know I have this tendency to even talk about things that I don't really need to test like that. I don't know what that's alluding to. Is take it as you will. Maybe this is what someone is also telling you, but it could be something that you are finding to be I'm hearing also a point of I'm hearing attraction here. The Two of Cups mirroring the Six of Cups. Like, I'm hearing like, I want it. Why do I want it? Like, there's something perhaps of that nature of like, I feel this connection. Why do I feel the connection? Like, there's this desire perhaps to understand. Okay, but I'm seeing that there's this focus of like, all of a sudden like, there's no point. I'm hearing on trying to focus my attention on where this desire also comes from. The Chair in reverse. Yeah, like, it's almost like it's irrelevant. Like, I'm seeing a horse shows up like out of nowhere, and it's like, whoa, that's a beautiful horse. Eight of Wands upright, mirroring the Chair in reverse. Like, and then it's like, I'm seeing like someone's looking at this horse, and they're like, but then they like change the subject a little bit, and they're like, okay, it's beautiful, but wait a second, where did that horse like chase off out of? I'm hearing as well from, like, I'm seeing someone's almost wondering, like, they're almost like kind of a little paranoid, not gonna lie, with the Chariot and the Daughter of Swords in reverse, like, and the Judgment card in reverse, Three of Wands in reverse. Like, I don't want to say self-sabotage, but Three of Swords upright, it's like, what is it that, Eight of Cups in reverse, like, with the Death card upright, like, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm seeing specifically, there's just perhaps this space of wanting to clarify. But then it became very clear that, in a certain way, we are not, I'm hearing calling out the truth or not here. I don't know, like, it's something where you're like, there's no like, it's true because there's no like, and I'm seeing like lights here, there's no like, I understand. I'm hearing the emotion, and so therefore it is. I'm hearing one that I can't fake, or one that they can't, like, there's something perhaps where you felt like, is this real? Like, I don't know, like, and it could be here with the Daughter of Cups, and you could have been dealing with a Pisces, somebody who, something about their parents, I don't know what that's alluding to here, or they had some sort of past, I'm hearing history, something here that you felt also, perhaps it could be with you, like you felt like you had a past with this person, somebody really like a deep connection, and you were almost wondering like, well, maybe there was a little bit of like a false start, like you're wondering, is this related, like, this is like a future, perhaps you're questioning, what is the potential of this space. Now let me see. I'm reading your emails. That's so funny. You're a chiropractor? My dad is a chiropractor. I'm feeling pressure in the heart chakra, specifically where it says, I was watching a movie and I thought of the question, I wonder if Nubia and I will ever be together, and the movie said second run fireworks. And I went into a full-on fantasy of being with her. I never heard of a twin flame before and didn't really know what I'm seeing, but it's funny because I'm feeling pressure in the heart, and then I'm feeling the heart chakra, and then I'm feeling pressure on the right side that almost mirrors the heart, like, but from the right side. So I'm seeing that I'm hearing 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, I'm seeing there's almost this question of like, I feel this, but I can also sense that it's a reflection of how she's feeling it too. Wow, interesting. There's something perhaps that you feel is somewhat of a foiled experience where it's like, you know, I have my emotions about this, but at the same time, I have my imagination, and I realize that I'm interacting with also the emotion and the imagination of another in that space. So that's real twisted. I don't know what that. There's something perhaps you feel you are. I'm hearing like you feel you're telling yourself, or maybe you know at a certain point in time you're like, well, maybe I'm just telling myself this, or you know, but at the same time I'm hearing you felt you were also I'm hearing you felt you were taken by, like, I don't know what that's alluding to. 1 second. Nubia. Okay. Okay, you said it all started after you met a woman. Did you have sex with this woman? I just back to question that, because I'm seeing that something actually physically happened in that space. I'm hearing like something was actually created. I don't know what that's about, but I'm seeing there's something that was I'm hearing it had to do with the contact, the physical contact. Like I'm seeing something actually I'm hearing braided hair. I don't know what. Anyways, okay. So I'm seeing though, I'm seeing pressure in like the groin, but on the left side of the body. Like, I don't know what that is about. Yeah, so I'm seeing there is some kind of, I'm hearing like, I'm seeing maybe there is, like you say, it maybe something you feel is also like growing. I'm hearing physically, like there's something that's building. I'm hearing building like up. I don't know what that's only, but I'm feeling pressure again, like in the groin area. I don't know, and don't, you know, they say, yes, I'm feeling that this is something, okay. I was just reading your notes. Like, that you actually put in the initial order. So, okay, but there's something that perhaps you feel like is actually growing, and it has a place. I'm hearing specifically like that. I'm hearing it resides from, I don't know what, like, do you feel like you're having Kundalini awakening? Always take it as you will, but there's something where you are actually feeling guided to move. I'm hearing to move, to even travel here. The Magician here in the Fool, like to travel, translocate the Six of Cups, or even visit someone or some particular place, a physical location. And there is a lot going on around this time astrologically. Like Pluto is going direct, and it actually did at the beginning of October, and we're moving into Scorpio season. We are also going to be approaching the new moon in Scorpio quite soon, around the 28th of October. In addition, there is also Venus in Scorpio, and Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio. So there's a real strong focus on the also manifestation of certain abilities, certain gifts. You might find that certain aspects of your being are, kind of facing activation around this time. I'm seeing that, yes, journaling is excellent. I'm seeing like whatever it is that you may be physically experiencing, to really kind of like work it out, to write it out, as it might be, in that moment, like you might feel like, I don't get it. Okay, but then, when you come back to it in some kind of way, it might bring also a certain pieces of the puzzle together in some kind of way. And I can only think of this reading I did. It was the Scorpio reading and the full, which one was it? The 15th and 31st of the month. It was one of those readings where the reading like started out with like no light, and then it slowly, the sun came through in the window and everything. And so it's that reading that I'm thinking of for you. There are certain perhaps dots that you feel you're in the process of connecting, and you might actually find that you resonate a whole lot with Scorpio as well. Your North Node is in Scorpio, and as well your Mercury and your Venus both in the house of Scorpio. So you might find that also when it comes to the translation of your specific abilities, your gifts, your talents, there is a focus on the processing through of this energy that is related to Pluto, and specifically Scorpio Mars as well. So as we move through this really profound time, there is perhaps, as you feel it, this growing feeling. I'm hearing the sensation that things are also I'm hearing you feel like you're gravitating. There's this gravitational force or pull that you feel is in a certain way even moving you into some particular I'm hearing also really public space where you feel that you are, I'm hearing also to gain recognition in some way. So it could be related to a community, something that you feel guided to also, I'm hearing create, I'm hearing the letter B, I'm hearing Brand. I'm hearing also Brad. I'm hearing Brad with the Six of Cups. I don't know what that's alluding to, but I'm hearing it has to do with performance. Again, perhaps the physical body. Yes, strongly so in some particular way. I'm hearing also, I'm hearing it has to do with like even, I don't know, I'm hearing chiropractic here with the Magician. Always take it as you will. Like, always take it as you will. The Fool is mirroring the Magician, and they're sandwiching here the Six of Cups. There's something that perhaps you feel your physical body, I'm hearing, is also, I'm hearing, is kind of is kind of like to learn about. It's interesting. I'm seeing like maybe even like there are even like, as you might feel it, shifts to the way that I'm hearing your hands are shaped as well. I don't know what that's about, but it's like maybe you like, I don't know, you find that you're like sore in certain places. I don't know what that's alluding to. Like maybe there are certain also like I'm hearing certain shapes. I'm hearing shaking as well. I don't know what pressure. Yep, I'm feeling pressure on my right hand. I don't know what that's alluding to. Like something where you feel it's also not a coincidence. You feel that there is a reason for that. Tower upright, world in reverse, and there are perhaps certain things that are being brought to your attention. Again, especially physically, the Magician upright, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. There is a certain vision, perhaps something that you feel. It's even a value. Yep, Son of Swords, Daughter of Swords. Something that you're like, I have an idea about where this is going, and it might be something that you feel guided to communicate to someone in particular. There is something that you feel you want to. Again, you're very clear on this. Seven of Cups in reverse, Eight of Cups in reverse. Something that perhaps you feel will bring up a focus that was in the past, or something that, what is considered the past, what is considered the future, what is time. But it's something that you feel you play some sort of role to also reveal here. Yep, here comes the Mother of Swords. Like, perhaps you want to confront Seven of Pentacles upright leading into the Mother of Swords. So there's something that Chariot, there's something that you feel it will be a big deal in some kind of way. It's going to be the breaking down of also certain barriers. I'm hearing to entry, specifically here with the Daughter of Cups and the Fool. Like, you might feel like, is this really, I'm hearing the beginning I'm seeking. Is this where it starts? And you have the Death card here and the Son of Cups. Like, Son of Cups is looking at the Nine of Swords in reverse. Like, there's something that you don't want to have to address, I'm hearing, or admit, but not because you don't want to, but there's something that you feel is a little complicated about this space. But ironically, it's kind of simple. I don't know what that's about, but it's like, at the end of the day, I'm hearing fantasy is fantasy. At the end of the day, emotion is emotion. At the end of the day, I am evolving, and that's an honest process that I feel I don't want to keep to myself. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Be it, something, again, you feel like broadcast. Yes, there's something you feel perhaps you need to, in some shape or form, I'm hearing bring attention to as well. And it has to do with also a number of steps. I'm hearing training. It's something perhaps you want to help train others on the space of in some way. Like, and it may have to do with the physical body again in some way. It may have to do with healing. I'm hearing hands-on. I suggest perhaps for you to look into Reiki if you haven't already. If you're not already involved in some kind of hands-on, even remote healing, there might be focus on that. I'm hearing classes here with the Fool. Okay, but one second. Area 61. I don't know what that's about. The Strength card of the Fool. I don't know what, but you feel like you're contacted by. One second. Let's look over there. Hold on. All right. So there's a process of perhaps also clearing, releasing. I'm hearing even there's a focus on even the physical body. Do you feel like you need to detox in some way, regeneration, or even I'm hearing grounding, cleansing, or I don't want to call it cleansing, but what is the process perhaps? Well, what is it rather that you see yourself carrying out in a public way that you feel kind of challenges certain aspects of also your past or your psyche in some kind of way? It's like, if I want to do that, I would need to confront that, be it even a part of your subconscious. Whereas, like, if I see myself as a light, okay, a bearer, I'm hearing as a knight in shining armor, what is it that I feel is the shield that I need to let down? Interesting. Wow, interesting. Death card here. It brings the question of what's power, right? Well, what makes me feel powerful? What does powerful mean? That I am a person with power? I always take it as you will. Or what does it mean to feel that I am also seeing the power in everything, at every time, in everyone? I'm hearing everywhere around me. Like, is it a space that I thrive in? And what is it that I feel I am to say? I'm hearing to face, to also I'm hearing recognize of myself in myself that will tell. I'm hearing my story. I'm hearing that with the Temperance card in reverse strength. It's like, sometimes also there will be aspects of this that don't make sense. It's like, this is not going to be. I'm hearing a decision. I'm hearing a good decision. And when we have so much air in the birth chart, there could be this fascination with fact and fiction. Okay, this is right and that's wrong. Like, I'm able to kind of assert and understand. Okay, and there could be, along with that, this fear of I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a decision that's wrong. If I make that decision in theory, not in practice yet, but in theory, I'm preparing for it. What could I potentially, process of that space, to avoid even making a decision that may be wrong. Now, there is perhaps this feeling, and I know it's a bit abstract, but there's this feeling perhaps of I want to be able to decide on this future, which is kind of ironic because when we think about specifically transformation, right, is it a direction? Right? Is it something that we say, I move in this direction and I transform? I transform because I decide to move in that direction. What is really, I'm hearing the complication of, I'm hearing the message of faith. I'm hearing it in that way with the Strength card. And I don't know what exactly that's alluding to for you, but there is perhaps this feeling of I don't want to have to also just feel that I'm making change. Perhaps there's this feeling, there's a feeling of wanting to almost feel that what you are feeling can be considered or has some sort of face to it, where you're like, I can identify it. I know what's happening, and I'm feeling heat. I'm feeling heat in the body, specifically around the right side of the face. There's something where you feel like it's a matter of confronting it, and I don't really want. Also, I'm hearing to create that space. Okay, I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but there is perhaps something where you feel like it's a matter of my doing, but at the same time, I feel like if I am the one doing it, then it's possibly I'm hearing a version of the story that doesn't exist. Okay, wow, interesting. I'm seeing that you're almost like psyching yourself out a little bit here. I don't know what that's alluding, but the Death card here is mirroring the Ten of Swords. Like, there's something that perhaps you feel is I'm hearing I'm hearing a really great novel. I'm hearing script as well. Like, maybe you're thinking like, this is my story and it's an amazing one, but at the same time you're thinking, is it just that? Is it just a story? And how is it that I start to tell it? I'm hearing if that is the case. And it's interesting because I'm tapping my two fingers on my palm, my two right fingers on my left palm, and usually when I'm doing this, I'm thinking of when someone is taking someone's they're taking their beat, they're okay, and it's like there is this focus on almost detecting. I'm hearing, is it time yet? And I'm seeing this has to do with vulnerability. How is it that I'm ready to also, I'm hearing claim publicly that I hold value for this, for that, for these spaces, for these types of also situations and thoughts that I hold. And I'm seeing there is this focus on, I don't want to be ashamed of what I feel. Okay, I'm hearing I don't want to feel like it's a bad thing to shed my layers as well. I don't want to feel like it's wrong. I'm hearing to call something else right that maybe, is something other than what I would have expected. Interesting. So I'm seeing that maybe this has to do as well with the diving into the deeper layers of the consciousness. How is it that I had at a certain point in time set this experience of mine out? I'm hearing universally. Interesting. I'm seeing it's like, how is it that I am identifying with my space as a creator? How is it that I'm conscious of that space? And how is it that I'm hearing subject to it, whatever it is that I happen, I'm hearing to walk into, I'm hearing willingly, I'm hearing as it. Wow. So it's like, when I think of myself, I know we're going deep, but when I think of myself as a creator, right? And I step into that space, how is it that I can? I'm hearing see myself clearly. And if I can define myself in that space, what does that really mean that I create? Is creation limited? I'm hearing to any particular persona that I can see myself holding on to. I'm hearing in a public way. So there's something perhaps publicly, maybe physically, that you feel like it's a fantasy, it's a feeling, I totally have it, I see it, I dream of it. I'm hearing as well, I'm smelling perfume, I don't know what I was alluding to. But it's like when I think about carrying that out in a public way, maybe that's when, and it might not be conscious, right? It may be subconscious, I don't know why, but I think about it, I fantasize about it, but then when I think about saying it out loud, I can't say the name. I don't know what that's alluding to. Maybe there's a little bit of this space, always take it as you will, of when I begin to think out loud about it, then I feel like I'm hearing it's not my thought, or I don't know what that's all. Maybe you're questioning, is it, or you're feeling is this something that I also need to think a little bit more about, a little more deeply about? Maybe I just didn't quite understand it. I'm hearing that specifically, but let's backtrack. Let's not get into that. What I'm seeing specifically is that there is a, perhaps, you feel like you're reading into the future as well to a certain level and dimension. You're thinking, is this appropriate? Is this actually, something that, I can also advise others on the space of, and to say it in the way that perhaps you're wondering, or you're feeling like I have access to information. Yes. And it has to do with your ability also to see into the future. I'm hearing foresight in whatever way that may be meant for you. Be it also your visionary abilities, your visionary capabilities, Neptune in the 5th house, oh my, in Sagittarius. There is a tremendous focus on the ability to also foresee and to perhaps even inspire and lead and create a space for others. But to say it in the way that perhaps there is something that you have a vision of creating. The question may be, how is it that I'm hearing I clear my own perception of myself as creating that space while in that space. And so it's almost like, how do I create without it has to do with presentation. I'm hearing without calling myself out in it. I'm seeing there's something that you really, I'm hearing it, it's like a vision, it's like a fantasy, it's like and what is fantasy, right? It's like, I can see this, I can see that this can also be this way, I can see that this can become also XYZ experience, but what is I'm hearing my directed role there? What is my capacity to create that space in a space of directorship? So in other words, you may be questioning, I know I have this feeling, I know I have it, I have this vision, I even a premonition. I know that there is also this potential. But what is my role right here? I'm hearing in leading into that experience, leading into that space, and there is this focus on the facelessness of it in a certain way. Again, it's like I want to come to the point of not even feeling that it is. I'm hearing like a face that I either watch or make. I don't know what that's about. Let's backtrack. Wait. I'm hearing the number 3. 3 things here. 3 of Pentacles, the Strength card, the Death card. I'm hearing, I don't want to be foolish. I don't know what that's about. The Death card, mirroring the Nine of Cups. Okay, this has to do with Son of Cups in reverse, mirroring the Nine of Cups. This has to do with your imagination. I'm not sure, how, in what way do you participated with that space of yours? I can only imagine that you'd be an amazing screenplay writer. Okay, I can only imagine that you would be a prolific writer in general. And who am I to say? Oh, right. But just kind of coming through, that might be something that would rather or there's a little bit of a sense of insecurity. I'm not gonna lie. Where might be this. Whoa. Okay. Did you hear that? Stop that. Okay. Whatever. You feel like sometimes you perhaps have a really clear vision of something, and you're like, it's amazing to you, and then all of a sudden maybe you stop that. You stop that feeling space a little bit, and you're like, oh, but I can define it like this and like that, and then that would mean that it's not really, I don't know what that's alluding to, but it's like, I beckon you to ask yourself to really review, to trace the lines of how you have lived in your imagination. I'm hearing lived for what you imagine. I'm hearing in the past, what role has your imagination played in the past? I'm hearing would you write stories? What was it that you experienced? I'm hearing of your imagination. I'm hearing in the past again, because there's something that perhaps you feel like you're maybe wondering, would it be too potent? I'm hearing that as well here with the Death card, mirroring the Eight of Wands, shock value, Nine of Cups, mirroring the Eight of Wands. There's something that though is an experience that you have had. I'm hearing it's transformative, and perhaps you feel guided to share that with others in some way. Always take as you will, live in light, take it, take it, in terms of ways, always take it as you will, just kind of channeling, take it as you will. Live in light to David. One more note, David, if you have any questions, right, about this reading, we can move into an extended session, all right? And we can read more deeply on certain even aspects that you want to really hone in on, really focus on. If you feel guided, we can also move forward with a live reading to, again, whatever you feel guided to sort of read further on. But if there is a particular direction that you want to take, we can take a deeper dive also with the birth chart and see, what aspects might be related even to what you see yourself carrying out in the long term. I'm saying the number 3 as a focus. Always take it as you will. There's a focus on perhaps 3 is related to Gemini, Mercury, the 3rd house, and as we know, you got a lot of that energy in your birth chart. So there is something perhaps that you see yourself, I'm hearing specifically publishing, something that you see yourself broadcasting, something that you see yourself even branding, something that you see yourself bringing to, I'm hearing also society. I'm hearing a large also audience in some way. All right, always take it to 11 light. You always take it as you will. Bye, David.